This week on Gran Turismo Daily Race A, we have very close racing in MX-5. Daily Race B, we see a takeout as two cars go for a spin. And Daily Race C, it's wet weather and people go deep. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo Weekly Race Guide here in 2024, week 23, and probably one of the best weeks in Gran Turismo 7 daily racing history. First up, a daily race A then. As you can see, we're in the Mazda MX-5 touring cars and we're at Daytona. Doing 3 laps here. It's a rolling start on sports hard tyres, and of course BOP is on, but you can have liveries and change the car up. I saw some D-winged MX-5 touring cars out there. If you don't want to look at this race, I highly recommend you do look at this race. But if you don't, there are some timestamps there for you to skip to race B or race C respectively. However, as I say, you need to have a go at this race. This race is absolutely fantastic. I love the Mazda MX-5 touring cars. They're brilliant cars to race. Let's jump into that race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens. Who is in this race then? We've got a Spanish driver in pole position. Hello to you. You said hello in chat. Great teacher in P2. And I'm going to try... Oh, hello. Somebody's already off to the left-hand side. We're gaining a position already. Thank you for that, mate. As they go off left. We've got Max Power up ahead. We've got Mario Sonic behind. Some of the regulars, if you wonder why I'm in a shirt, I've actually been in work this morning for the GCSE exam to help get it set up and ready, which is why this video is also a little bit late. I do apologise for that, but I'm here racing now. Let's have some fun here in this Mazda MX-5 touring car. Max Power getting extremely close to the wall as we head towards this hairpin then. 3 laps here. I do wish this race was longer, if I'm brutally honest. I really do. As you see there, everybody going to get sideways out of this corner, including myself there as I took avoiding action. Max Power's actually going to back off there and let the other driver through due to that small incident. It was chicane we go then. There's a penalty up in the distance. I'm trying to get a good run through here on Shadow, and we do that. Shadow also gets a little bit of oversteer on exit then. Mario Sonic right behind me, and I'm trying to get in that slipstream because I want to overtake him. Mario Sonic going for the bump drafting as well. I appreciate that, so I'm just going to fast forward this bit then. There's the penalty taken for Great Teacher up ahead. We're going to go around the outside then. Here we go. Shadow goes on the inside of Great Teacher actually as we head in towards turn 1. I'm the leader of the pack then as we come into here then. Leaving space on that inside. Slowing the car down, and we get just a little bit of rubbing there through turn 1. It's all good. We try and recover the car as we continue on side by side action behind as well. This is why this race is so good, honestly. I had good fun in this one as we come into this right-hander, slowing the car down. They're 3 wide behind now. 3 wide, my word. We're going to try and escape that very quickly as we want to win the race. Right, okay, here we go. We're on the, well, in the middle of lap 2 here, on the banking at Daytona, heading towards the chicane. So I would advise bump drafting here where possible if you want to catch up to somebody. And then I lift off here because I don't want to be that close. I want to prep the exit. The exit of this bus stop chicane, much more vital than the entrance. Here we go then, through we go. I'm just setting myself up nicely. I did get it slightly wrong there though as we continue on through. I did get a nice run though. We go towards that outside line. Unfortunately, we cut the exit a bit too much there and gained a 0.5 second penalty. I will explain track limits in the track guide, of course, which is coming up. To take that penalty, we've got a big enough gap behind there where we do stay in this position and we can keep on fighting for this P2. We actually catch up to P1 as well, so we go down the inside here. The Italian makes a small mistake there in towards the right-hander. We're going to leave side by side. I'm trying to leave space here while the car's trying to kill me as we head towards the left, and then that's going to be the oval. So I want to get on the inside. So this is what I'm trying to prep up here. Get on the inside as much as I can. Get up into 3rd gear. That stabilizes the car. And through we go into P3 then. Happy days indeed. But we've got a long way to go here to try and get the win. We haven't got a long way to go in terms of the race, though. Let's see what happens then. Heading towards the chicane. The Italian goes towards the inside. I wouldn't advise trying to send it into the chicane. They do back out of that as we come into here. It did force me to go overly aggressive, though. Up ahead, though, the leader absolutely loses the rear end there. So they are going to lose out here. I'm up into P2. We've got a run on P1. However, unfortunately for me, yeah, we get a penalty there, which is really annoying. Look how close we would have got there. Could have been a photo finish, but not the case. I do stick towards that inside line. Make my intentions very clear here. Sticking towards that inside. And we do get P2 all the same. So I do take that. We could have maybe got the win there, but unfortunately, that penalty kept me away. I do wish this race was longer. Another 2 laps would be great with this race, if I'm brutally honest. Let's go to the track guide then. Let me tell you how to do a good lap here at Daytona. So heading in towards turn number 1, you got the black marker up ahead or that white line there. Use either of these as your markers, okay? As you go into turn 1, the car's going to want to understeer a bit as you go hard on the brakes. You may want to release it a little bit during the braking process. Here we go, on the brakes, and I'm braking a straight line, releasing it a little bit, and I dropped to second gear. You do need to rev the nuts out of this car. You will lose time short shifting. Short shifting can be safer. You can do that first turn in third gear. However, you will lose 0.2 of a second at least there. On the right side, we've got the one board and then the runoff area on the inside, or the shorter circuit, should I say. So literally in between these markers is where I brake. Okay, you could use the trucks on the left hand side if you really want to. I was using the one board and braking just after that leaves the screen, so that's why I've highlighted that for you. I dropped to second gear. Nice tight line here. You want to get straight as quick as possible to avoid that oversteer. That's what I do there, and then I go to third gear. I'm gonna head now towards the right-hander that's coming up. Is this the horseshoe? I can't remember the name of the corners here at Daytona, even though I've done that many 24-hour races here. If so, we're going to head up here then, and on the left-hand side there, you've got that bigger open area of tarmac, but you got that dark section there on the left-hand side. That's my brake marker, so once that hits the edge of your screen, that's where I'm going to hit the brakes. Brake in a straight line. Don't turn and brake. Brake in a straight line for this corner. You want to really get the braking sorted and then turn in. It sharpens and then opens up. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It really sharpens and then it opens up. There you go. Look at that. Nice and open. Accelerates now. Use a bit of the curb on the exit and then head over towards that right-hand side. Now, you can see the circuit veering off to the right there. We're not going that way, but it's a really good brake marker, and I've highlighted it right there for you. Again, braking a straight line. Highly advise you brake earlier for this corner and really try and chuck the car in. You want to get an inside line, if I'm brutally honest, so you can straighten up. If you really try and open up the corner a little bit, you're going to oversteer much, much more. So I try and keep it tight here so I can then straighten up and then go. And you can see that straightening up right there. I can then get on the inside. We're going to fast forward this bit because it's just the oval. Remember, rev the nuts out of this car and we're going to head towards the bus stop chicane. There's the 3 board. There's the 2 board. But what we're looking for is that indicator right there. Okay, it's just before the 1 board. Really good brake marker here. Now, I highly advise you stay in 4th gear for stability through here. You can drop to 3rd, and you saw me do that in a race, but after doing this in practice afterwards, 4th gear I find a little bit better. So what I'm going to do, 4th gear, and I'm going to enter the corner and try and keep it as stable as possible as I go through here, foot to the floor. I actually cut quite a lot of the chicane there, and critically, with track limits, as long as you're on the yellow stuff before it ends and you come back on the circuit, you're absolutely fine. If you go over the white line, then you are going to get a penalty. That's a 2:03.9, I think it is. There we go. There's definitely more time available, though, as we jump to Daily Race B, where we're in Group 4 at Interlagos. So you can see that I have picked the Toyota Supra Group 4 car. We are doing 5 laps here at Interlagos. It's a rolling start on racing hard tyres, and you're only changing the brake balance. Yes, we have no tuning this week either. It's fantastic. Wait till you see what Daily Race C is. But even so, we're on B. I'm in the Supra at Interlagos. Racing hard tyres is a bit meh, but it is what it is. Let's jump into the race. Let's have a look exactly what happens. Here we are then with Daily Race B. An Aston in P1. That's Jack. Hello to you, Jack. We've got Ferraris. We've got all sorts in here, actually. Nobody can pick a meta car, which is always good when that happens. If you enjoyed this video, as always, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. That journey to 50k continues. And we are getting so close now. Under 1,000 to go, and I appreciate all the support as we head here to turn 1. Now, I'm going to put this out there. I jumped into this race. 0 practice. Nil. Not one single lap. So I'm racing literally raw right now as we continue through the left-hander. So I really had to get my mind in the game. And remember, all my brake markers I've told you about, and I'll talk about them after in the track guide, of course. Up ahead, max power in the Porsche. We've got Hash on the left-hand side now. Hash was saying how slow that McLaren is. You are over-revving the car. You really have to short shift that car. Do check out some previous content if you do watch this stuff, Hash, because literally you are way over-revving that car. I will tell you that right now. We've got Mario Sonic looking down the inside of me then, in towards the double right. Very hard to make this move work when you do it because you could veer it into the other car. This time Mario Sonic backside of it, and we're going to look down the inside of the Spanish driver in that McLaren. They go a little bit deep, but bring it back quite nicely, actually. And Mario Sonic round the outside, then in towards the left. Slight tap there, nothing major as we continue on through here then. What a move there by Mario Sonic. Really well played. Did I get a bit of oversteer? Now we're going to send it down into the inside here. We are very much alongside. We actually gain ahead of Max Power as well, but I've got to leave space open there. Max Power's there. Mario Sonic takes full opportunity of that as well as we continue on through here. But I keep it round the outside then. Are we going to get this position? That is the question. Yes, I am. Mario Sonic backs out of it. But we are in a big queue of cars here. Absolutely massive as we head up towards the start finish line. So I'm going to try and bump draft Max Power here. Hash came across her, so I sort of left a bit more space, but unfortunately, I really shouldn't have done that. I should have kept my line there. I got a track penalty because I went over the white line as it goes into the pits. So we do get that track limit penalty annoyingly. Slight tap from behind. Not sure exactly what happened here as we continue on through, but it all sorts itself out. There you go. Happy days indeed. And at this moment in time, I don't want to fight max power. I just want to push on here because I've got that penalty. I want to take that and then hopefully not lose as much time in terms of race time. So that's my goal here. As we head in towards the left-hander, though, Marisonic goes for the move then, and I'm just going to try and hang it around the outside here. Unfortunately, not a lot of room there, and we're going to go off the circuit. Now, you do have to be careful about going off there because you do get track limits there as well, as I get another 0.5 second penalty as Marisonic looking down the inside of max power then as we continue on through here. Then that Alpha has a very unique sound, that's for sure. And max power just sticking over towards the left-hand side. I send it in here. I didn't really sort of mean that, but an oversteer overtake I'll take. Anyway, we take that penalty, 1 second penalty. So there's max power, there's Motorstorm, and Hash still over revving. That McLaren is way far behind. A lap later then, we got Kobe with a penalty, Max Power with a penalty. Marisonic's also had a penalty, but not quite as big up ahead. So we're back to status quo here. So let's get to lap number 4 then, where we just see some smoke in the distance as we continue on through here. Calivan there with a 1 second penalty as we head in towards the last corner. Oh, Calivan sends it into the back of the Lamborghini, which puts his Aptu off as well. So we gain 2 positions here. We're going to get another. They get 4 seconds of penalties. Well deserved with that one. We'll have a look at that one in the bloopers as well to see exactly what happened there. But yeah, that was just not on. Unless you outbrought yourself, then fair dues. I've not seen it yet. But of course, the bloopers are coming up and we can have a look at that. Max Power there. Sorry, not Max Power. Marisonic whacks on the pause button, is chatting away. So we're going to go down the inside then. I think they were surprised with that takeout as well. So in towards turn 1 we go. That's another position gain. Back up to P9 after that penalty. I'm pretty happy with. But can we get P8 from Motorstorm, who did overtake me when I had that penalty? Through the left we go then. I try and get the run out the corner. Unfortunately, the grass says no and sends me to Narnia. So I clip the barrier. So Marisonic's through, Max Power is, and so is Apsu. You can see me laughing there. These things happen. I tried to go for the run. It failed miserably, and I come home way far down on the grid. Good fun race, so this can be a good fun race, should I say, with some very close racing that you have seen. So another good race that you can take part in. See my brake belts there down in that bottom right side. Heading towards turn number 1. What I'm using in this practice mode is on the right side, I've highlighted it there. There's some grey stairs. It's after the 100 board, before the 50 board. Some grey stairs there. That is what I'm using. In the race, there's a red canopy on the left-hand side of the pit wall you can use. You can just see the stairs a bit more there. It's more obvious as you race. Just keep an eye out for them, okay? Really good brake marker. Use all the curb on the inside. You want to maximize your line through here. Try and straighten up as much as you can. Let's go into this left. I'm going to short shift a tiny bit, just to make sure the car doesn't understeer. You don't want to understeer off here, and then you can chill out a little bit and start thinking about sector 2, because this next corner is very easy to get wrong, but you can also gain a lot of time on it. So what I do here is I'm looking on the right side. You've got the Marshall box, the 100 board, and the where it joins the tarmac. Okay. So these are markers I always use. I said I jumped into that race with 0 practice. I'm looking at these. So in the Toyota Supra, I'm braking later at the latest marker, which is that concrete bit up ahead. There we go. Hard on the brakes as we go into here. I could have even braked a little bit later, to be honest with you. Be careful of exit, of course, track limits, and it's very slippy on the dark green stuff. Over towards the left-hand side. Keep going towards that left-hand side. And what we're looking for, we can already see it on the left-hand side there, is that Marshall box. They called it a Mario box then, because of Mario's on it. But Marshall box there on the left-hand side. Okay, this is a double apex corner. So I hit the brakes, drop a gear. Sometimes I'll drop 2 gears depending on the car. But I want to clip the first curb. I want to go out a little bit and then clip the second one. So there's 4th gear. See, I've dropped 2 third gear here. I'm looking to clip the second one. I just miss it, but I'm close to it, so it's absolutely fine. And then we're looking for the McDonald's tire marks. I always point these out. Really good markers. It's at the start of this one, so literally the bottom of the yellow box here that I've got on the screen. That is my brake marker for this right-hander. It's always there. It doesn't disappear. Really, really, really do use it. It's a really nice brake marker. Use all of the inside here. As long as you're on the curb, you're fine. As we head down towards this left-hand side then, you've got the start of the curb there. This is where you dab the brakes a little bit. You can just roll if you want to, but I would recommend dabbing the brakes just a tiny bit, just to scrub off a tiny bit of speed to keep a nice tight line. You're trying to get to the exit of this corner as quick as possible, so going a bit deep here will cost you time. So there we go, through we go, and what we're looking for there is that green stuff on the inside of the curb. That is your accelerating marker. The second you start seeing this, you really want to start accelerating as early as you can, because you know you're getting towards the exit of the corner, and that's the critical part. Do be careful of power oversteer on exit, a very common thing to have here in many cars there. Even a little wiggle here in the Toyota Supra as we head up to this right-hander. Now on the left-hand side, you've got the tarmac goes into the dark green sippy stuff, and on the right side, you've got to start the curb. Either of these are really good markers in terms of this right-hander. Now, you want to brake in a straight line before you turn in. Okay, so you're braking in a straight line towards the outside of the corner, and then we come back in here as I release. I'm trying to clip the curb and accelerate as early as you can. If you get a bit of power oversteer, it can be good for you because you get that rotation. Through this left-hander, you can do it flat in some cars, not others. I get a bit scared there in the Toyota Supra. I didn't need to. And as we head towards the last corner, on the right-hand side, you've got that catch fence. Where there's a cross in it, there's not many with a cross. That cross there, really good brake marker for this last corner. Okay, so as that leaves your screen, you're going to hit the brakes. You can see I've just started going on the brakes right now as we go into this final corner. I'm going to be aggressive here, so I'll drop to second and up to third very quickly because I want to get a really good exit. One of the biggest and most important corners on this circuit is that corner there, because you have this long straight all the way to the line. 38.5, not quite on the leaderboard yet, but I'm going to get the leaderboard later today. If you are looking for a ghost, so do keep an eye out for that. We head to Daily Race C then, where we're at Fuji in Group 3 machinery, and if you can just see there, I am in a Porsche 911 RSR. It was very good in the manufacturer series, so I thought, why not pick it now? We're doing 24 laps. Yes, it's an endurance race, folks. It seems to be doing one of these once a month, which is great. Rolling start, racing medium tyres. You do have to pit. However, ×2 fuel, ×4 tyre wear, and brake balance only, so no tuning. And again, however, there is weather. We do have weather in this race, so you may want to delay pitting if weather's coming. Who knows? Let's jump into this race then, where we do experience some wet weather, and let's see how I get on, as well as a little tip for you guys. Who is in this race then? A Paul Mario Sonic. We got Shadow P4 there. Max Power Keys in this one as well. As we kick off, Calster's in here, just checking about that wheel bug. And if you are enjoying this video, as always, do get a like and do subscribe to the channel. Key over to the right side. Calster's struggling as well. Not sure what's going on here with everyone going to the right hand side, but we've gained 3 positions already before turn 1. Very bizarre, but hey, we take these. It's a win in my books. It is a win. So thank you very much, folks. As we head to... Oh, Max Power nearly into the rear end then. McLaren looking on the inside as well. I think Calster's tapped Max Power there, so they're going to wait up for each other. Lewis hits the pause button, which really confused me. And that's possibly going to cost me a position here. I will get my words out finally as we go into this left-hander with that McLaren. It does indeed, as McLaren goes down the inside. So a bit frustrating that one, but it is what it is. We're all still very close here. Lap number 2, 5 seconds to the lead here, and we're in P13. I love Fuji for this. Fuji is fantastic for racing as we go into this left-hander. Let's see the new Group 3 car, well, technically new old car of the Honda NSX GT500 car up ahead being used. There's a couple of people using that in this race. Always nice to see it being used, but I'm expecting it to get nerfed a month from now when the next patch comes out. But we'll see what happens. In towards the right we go then, sent it on the McLaren, but the McLaren defends that very nicely on the next part of the chicane, so it's still status quo for now as we go on to lap number 3. Key very close here behind then in the Porsche, goes towards that inside line as we head in towards the braking zone and going in towards turn 1. Look at everybody, he's absolutely everywhere here, so I didn't mind the racing here at the moment. As we continue on here, we're still side by side. Nothing to really worry about in the distance so far. We're still keeping up with everybody as we head in towards the left-hander. Very hard to do side by side, but somehow we make this work. Key goes a little bit deep then, comes back on the circuit. We're still side by side here as we go into this right-hander and continue on through. And I was trying to get on the inside there. My mistake. Trying to accelerate and just Key was still in frame there. Let's go into the left-hander and another slight tap. That's completely on me. So I just sort of back off here a little bit, let Key settle himself, and then I can continue on as well. Lap number 4 then, heading in towards turn number 1. Still side-by-side action in the distance. This time Key on the McLaren as we continue on through here then. We've got an absolutely fantastic run on Key. So guess what? We're going to do the same thing again, and hopefully this time it will work as we head in towards the left-hander. We continue on through. Key actually does that better this time. I have to leave the space there, and unfortunately it doesn't work out this time as we go into the right-hander. Again, with this race, very little practice. I've done 5 minutes because I literally just got home from work. I did race C first, if you really want to know. Got home from work, switched it on, made a brew, off I went. And this is what you're seeing right now then. So we're going to head down towards the chicane. I actually don't like this version with the chicane. I prefer it without, if I'm brutally honest. But even so, I'm looking to send it here. Decide to back out. That key goes down the inside of the McLaren then. Oh, wow. That's a pretty good move there. Makes it work. The McLaren was like, nope, you can have that one. You did that with me, though, did you? Oh, it's all good. It's all racing here as we continue on through here. Max Power's getting back in the mix then behind us. 1 second behind now. Calster a bit further behind than that, as we continue through this left-hander then, and we're going to head up to the sharp right-hander. And what I'm going to do is go for the tight line then on the inside here, and we do get it stopped then, and through we go. It's a bit clunky, I would say, that one, to be honest with you, but I was past there. So lap number 5, here we go then, back behind Key, and Jack in the distance then in the Porsche. In towards the braking zone we go. Going through here, slight tap between the two up ahead. I try and take full advantage of that, get on the inside of Jack, and we're up into P12 once more. Leader 7.4 seconds up the road then. That's Mario Sonic at the moment. It's not that far in the distance, to be honest with you, as we go a bit further on in this race then, in towards the right-hander. Key on the inside of Skelkovg there, and they're on the slippy stuff as well. That's very dangerous, but fortunately they actually survived that one then. As we go towards the right-hand side, this is where Slipstream really plays a part in this Group 3 category, because I can't get past. I have to fall back in line then and hope that I can go for the move then in towards turn number 1. Here we go. We're in the Slipstream. We go towards that right-hand side again. Can we get it done then? And we're going to send it in towards turn 1. Hard on the brakes. Here we go. And we stopped the car. We actually broke a little bit early then. I'll say hard on the brakes. A bit too hard, apparently. But they managed to defend that round the outside. Brilliant stuff there from Kelgovk. As we head then towards the fast kink. Then the left-hander here. What can we do then? On the brakes we go. We want to clip the inside curb if possible. We do indeed. In towards the right then. And looking to slow the car down. If we can get on the inside, that's my goal here. Nope, not quite. They defend that very nicely. As we head then towards the left-hander. And behind here, Jack's going to get very close there, and I clip the curb there. Forces a bit of oversteer, and now I can settle down a little bit. We fast forward a little bit more here. You may have just seen that rain is due in this race. We've got a yellow flag up ahead. That's Brown Banana coming back on the circuit. We'll have a look at the bloopers to see what happened to Brown Banana in this race. As we've got Skelfgard. I can't even pronounce our name. Skel. We're going to call you Skel from now on. Through the right we go. Up ahead in the Hoonigan machine. And in towards the left we go. I'm going to try it round the outside. This is dangerous to try. I'm going to try it, but Brown Banana's gone off, and we do get a position, but not the one we wanted. As we go into the right-hander, we're very close to Skellen as we continue on through here. Are we going to have a look at that wet weather? No, not quite yet. We are going to fast forward. Oh, there it is. It's coming in. It's getting closer as we head towards turn 1. Skell goes defensive. I go towards the left-hand side then. Unfortunately for them, they outbrake themselves, so we take a clean on pass there and a clean P10. Thank you very much. We're still in the fight here. Lap number 7. You can see the weather has just started to come in. We've got some dark blue on there, but we're going to go onto the intermediate tyres. We're following Kean and Busy up ahead then. In towards the right we go. I believe you can cut a little bit of the left-hand side there as we go into here, and intermediate tyres I choose. Now, what you are going to see in a moment's time, and you may have just seen it right there, Key quits because Key hadn't bought the tyres. So one big tip here is if you're using your own car, make sure you've bought the intermediate and wet so you can actually change to them. Otherwise, it's game over. Bit stupid that they let you in the race in this scenario, but it is what it is. A lap later then, the rest of the pit stoppers come in, and I do feel like we have benefited here from pitting a lap earlier, and we have gained some time, which is always nice. That first lap, I did struggle. I switched traction control on 1, and I did start to struggle in this race very quickly. Here you can see there, I'm just slipping off the circuit. So I'm just trying to learn Fuji now. When we raced at Suzuka in the wet, it was all about taking the dry line even in the wet. Here, though, apparently, you do not want to do that, as Fuko goes around the outside of me there. I'm just struggling here. Calster in the Aston Martin there, and I've just got no grip whatsoever. So I'm just trying to, get a feel for the car, get a feel of what's actually happening here as I try and accelerate out of the corner. And I do learn what to do here, and I'm going to share that a little bit later on in the race, because it's quite significant where you place your car in this race. We've talked about it before. Braking offline is always beneficial, and that's what I'm doing right here, braking offline. You can see that works very well. You may want to overlay, which is hard braking at the tab of the throttle. I'm also using ABS weak. I highly advise you don't use that in the race. That will cause your car to slip more. One of the big problems in wet weather is when you brake, as you see Calster's trying around the outside here, when you brake, the rear wants to come out. So I instantly went to -5 brake balance. You may have seen that. So I'm on -5. You don't want the rear to come out. The second the rear comes out, you lose braking efficiency. You want to brake in a straight line, hard and true, and you should be absolutely fine. Keep that in mind when you are doing this race to change between default and weak depending on the weather conditions. Through the right we go then, and we're going to continue on out of here. Look at the struggle there for grip. I'm really struggling. I was on the racing line there where there is no grip. Shadow comes in the pit then from P1 and decides to go on the wet weather tyre. Yeah, some people are going to go on the wets. However, the wets don't feel good at all in Gran Turismo 7. They really don't. So I highly advise against it unless you are properly struggling. The intermediates seem to be the best of all worlds here when it is wet weather. Once again, we are off at the racing line here. Max Power sends it down the inside. Is Max Power going to get it stopped? The answer is no. And we're going to look down the inside here and hopefully gain another position, or retake our position, should I say. See there, the wiggle here. Max Power just constantly sending it here. I don't believe Max Power will have traction control on. Obviously, traction control really limits the power going to the car. So if it's on and your wheels are constantly slipping like mine are, you're going to lose a lot of time. So you really need to get used to not using traction control if you really want to maximize performance. But obviously, the inherent risk of that is you could spin out. Now, Shadow pitted for wets earlier on in the race. You saw that. We're on lap 15 now, and Shadow's only just catching up here. It shows you the wet weather tyres just really aren't that great. Even though we're in wet weather conditions, you know, we're in the dark blue section on that wet weather thing on the left-hand side where it tells you how wet it is. You see there, I make a mistake. This corner was the bane of my life in this race, and it's one I have learnt from about this point on how to do better. And I am going to share my tips and thoughts on that when we get to it, because I've saved a part of the lap that I really want to show you. Shadow with a brilliant move there and gaining P9 from me as we go into this left-hander. And again, I'm just being careful on exit here to accelerate out the corner with a huge amount of oversteer as well. Going to head down in towards this braking zone. It's another area I did struggle a little bit here. Lewis there sends it down the inside. Was really trying to retake the position. That's not worked. Onto the grass, and we're back up to P9 then. So we're going to continue on out of here, and we're actually going to advance even further on into the race. Lap 17 then. Here we go. Lewis back on my rear then. Looks down the inside. Not going to quite work there as we continue on through here. Notice that I've got a little bit more grip on the outside of the circuit. It shows you the racing line is extremely slippy. You do have to avoid it, and also avoid puddles like that. I don't know why I did that. That was a moronic of me. And there I'm trying to catch the car now. Lewis goes to that move down the inside. We're on the racing line, which we shouldn't be. We try and get off it. And look at that. Braking on the racing line, you just go far away. It's way too slippy to be braking out there as we continue on through here then. What we are going to do is advance to lap 20, where we catch up to the McLaren. We catch up to somebody. Yes, we do. Look at Kelster, by the way. Remember, Kelster was at the back at the start of this race. He's now in the lead and flying. The McLaren goes defensive here on the inside then. We're going to go towards the left-hand side as we head towards the braking zone. Hard on the brakes once again here as we head towards turn number 1. I was using the lamppost on the right, by the way, if you're wondering about a turn 1 brake marker in the wet weather conditions. I thought that was a kind of nice marker a bit earlier on. But when you start getting used to it, you can start to brake a little bit later. You're just going to have a bit of a play and find out what works best for you. We're going to go into this left-hander. Notice I'm doing this a little bit better now. More off-line worked here. Same for this corner, actually. Really, outside line does work. However, it doesn't work if you go too wide, as the McLaren does there. And we're going to take P9 off them. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate it. Notice there, we come back on the racing line and we have a problem. So what I did then is I turned on the driving line. And the driving line, when it's absolutely pouring down, is also the worst line you can be on. Absolutely worst line. So avoid this at all costs. But it's a really helpful line. So every time I go on the racing line, you'll notice traction control light normally comes on a little bit. It doesn't in that situation. Not sure why. But every time I go on it, it comes on because it's very slippy on there. So just stay to the left or right of this and you should be fine. Notice there, the front started to shift as we're on the racing line there. And then I come off it and then the traction is fine again. So you do have to be careful about going anywhere near that racing line. But if you've got the driving line on, great tip here, you know it's going to be slippy there. You come off it and then it's absolutely fine. So here in the braking zone, for example, I brake, I go through it, and now I'm on a really nice part of the circuit where I can just accelerate out the corner and, oh, no, slippy. Now I'm fine again. Really, really nice tip to do. Put the driving line on to understand it. I don't like the wet weather in Gran Turismo sometimes because I just feel it's not simulated in the slightest and it's just very weird and slippy and horrible, to be honest with you. It's like driving on ice rather than driving in the rain. But even so, it's there. We've got driving assist that can help us. Use traction control. Use the driving line if necessary. Check your ABS. As I say, default will be better than weak in a wet weather race. Let it dry, though, because weak can be better. Well played to Calster there. Let's go into a track guide then. This is actually an old track guide I'm using here. There's no chase cam for this one, unfortunately. I do apologize. But as we head towards turn 1, the start of the grandstand on the left-hand side is my brake marker, okay? That is my brake marker all the time at Fuji. That is what I'm using right here. So as that goes off the edge of your screen, you're going to hit the brakes. I believe we're in a Nissan GTR for this one. It's one of my old time trial laps that I've just pulled together. It's just so I can get the video out today for you, just due to the work that I was talking about. We'll be back to normal next week. Don't you worry. We continue on out of this corner then, and we're going to head towards the left-hander coming up here. Now, what you've got there, I've actually highlighted the billboard, but it's more the dark grey into light grey on the barrier on the left-hand side. Really good brake marker that, okay? So as that gets to the edge of your screen, hit the brakes and turn in immediately. Turn in immediately. You want to use a lot of the curb on the inside if you can, as we can use even a little bit more there. You can use a lot of the exit there. Just be careful about coming back on. As you come into here, it's all about lifting, allowing the car to do its thing there. So I don't really try and brake where I don't need to, and I'm using the throttle. Over towards the right-hand side we go, and on the left-hand side there, you've got that run-off curb there. The end of that is a really good brake marker for this left-hander. Now, I always find braking earlier here can be a little bit more beneficial if you nail it right. The reason for that is you can get your car turned and straightened up and accelerate out the corner a little bit better than going a bit too deep. If you go a bit too deep, you'll suffer more power oversteer. You want to straighten up as much as you can, which is what I'm doing there as I continue on out of here, and we're going to head down towards the chicane then. So as we head down here, what we're looking for is on the right-hand side, okay? So I use the orange painted barrier there. You can use the Dunlop gantry if you really want to, but the orange painted barrier for me is a perfect marker, and I use these all the time. So we're going to go hard on the brakes. Now, again, this is one of those corners. Braking earlier is far more beneficial than trying to outbrake yourself into this corner. The reason for that is you set yourself up for the exit. So if you brake early, you can cut all of the inside here, start to accelerate very quickly. A short shift is beneficial for this corner, and then straighten up as you go towards the outside of the circuit. Now, on the left-hand side there, you've got the grass that goes into the slippy stuff there. Really good brake marker for this right-hander. You want to get as close to that as possible, but not on it. And you normally drop a gear here. So you brake, drop a gear, and turn in. And hopefully the car will rotate a teeny tiny bit. That's what I'm going to do here then. Does it go on the curb? It doesn't this time, so I could have definitely gained time there. We accelerate, be careful, power oversteer. And on the left-hand side, you've got this curb there. As it ends, that is your brake marker. You're not going to go 100% braking usually here. What you're going to do is about 50% because you're still turning. Remember, a wheel can only do 100% of something. So if you're doing 50% braking, imagine you can do 50% turning. That's what we're looking at here. Notice the 50% braking. We're trying to bring the car back. We're trying to clip the curb. Straighten up as quick as you can. And it allows you to accelerate very nicely. The final corner, you can do this many lines. You saw me going for overtakes on the inside line. The outside line is a very good line if you want to get a good run off the corner. Very good way to start a time trial lap, I must say. So, depends what you want to choose. But that orange painted barrier is my brake marker. So, you may want to go a bit more aggressive on the outside line or keep it nice and tight. It's entirely up to you. I've gone for a middle of the road approach on this particular lap. And you can see on exit there, a little bit of power oversteer. Once it's settled, foot to the floor, head towards the line. And that is a lap here at Fuji. That's a 38.3. But I'm not sure of the relevance that with the current lap times, of course, because it's different conditions. But I just thought I'd show you my brake markers. What happened in race A to that driver? Well, they just decided that their wheel would break and they went straight off. Couldn't even go in the pits there. Straight into an invisible wall. So, you know, an invisible wall is there. What happened to the Italian? This one interested me a lot, actually, as I came through here because they just disappeared off my radar. And I did have that penalty, of course. So there's a slight tap there. And, oh, who's that? That's Max Power on the inside. And then there's a big old crash. Ooh, not too sure about that one, to be honest with you. But Max Power continues on. Maybe there's a reason. I'm not too sure. But maybe should have left some more space there. Max Power had the run. I'm not too sure. This one was an interesting one. I got told about this. I didn't even know about what happened here. So we've got Kobe. Goes a little bit deep into turn one. Nothing major here. Lambo sort of taps him there. That's clearly a mistake by Boucher. As we go through this left-hander, it's not the Lambo they're going to hit. They're going to hit the McLaren off. And I have no idea why. Purposeful takeouts are not acceptable, especially when you do the wrong person as well. That's moronic, Kobe. It really was. Anyway, we're going to have Mario Sonic now come up on the outside of them. And they're going to turn into Mario Sonic. Not acceptable, so that is reportable behaviour in my opinion. I would report in them. I still not reported Roberto from last week. That is being done today, don't you worry. As we jump on Calivan then. This was that takeout that we did see then. Was it an actual takeout? I missed braking as we head down here. Ooh, I'm not sure. You definitely should have waited, that is for sure. But, yeah, that's not the greatest in the world. A good job you did get 4-second penalty. I think that is fully acceptable. Iceman got hit, so Iceman's going to go by there. That is fair play. Up to Lewis then. So Lewis into turn one. Just outbrakes himself a tiny bit here. Nearly gets it stopped hits the rear of Consta then, and this is where we see the pause button hit. The pause button just forces the issue there. And Naked Ape, what happened here then? Oh, brilliant stuff. Good sportsmanship there. Takes avoiding action to avoid hitting the Porsche, and unfortunately gets reset as well. Brilliant sportsmanship there. If you have enjoyed this video, as always, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. Do check out GT Amiga and use my code Tidgney if you want a discount. Also gives me a kickback. Also, the Fanatec link there in the description. If you are buying from Fanatec, I would appreciate if you use that. 2 videos there to check out. And if you're wondering about reporting players, I'll put a comment in the description how it happens. Thank you for watching and hope to see you again very soon.